Brand will be enabling hardline power and comm connection shortly. You are go to doctor suits per procedure 4.012. We will configure video to go external momentarily and we'll let you know when it's ready.
Okay, SpaceX, for Dragon, we copy 4.012 and standing by for the cameras.
And Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Cameras are external.
And Dragon copies 4.012, so copy inward.
There's some clapping here in Hawthorne at SpaceX headquarters, and even saw a little bit of celebration aboard Crew-Dragon. Once it was confirmed hard capture was complete, Dragon was attached to the International Space Station. And then an amazing reminder just how important it is and how international the International Space Station is. Word from Soichi Noguchi, the first international partner to fly aboard a commercial crew vehicle from the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency.
What an amazing journey this has been. I can't believe that they are there now, officially docked to the space station. So excited to see them get out of their suits and eventually get on station. But now that Dragon has completed the docking sequence, the spacecraft must undergo a handful of checks before we will be able to open the hatch. The crew on board Dragon will now get a chance to get out of their suits before moving into the hatch operations, which is why they're getting some privacy on Dragon right now.
Yeah, that's right. We heard that call for external cameras. And as we also heard, Kate Rubin got the go to take down the station she was monitoring the Crew-Dragon arrival from. And he is also getting things ready on the station side to welcome her new crewmates aboard. Going to be getting the hatch ready to be opened on the station side. That's the nose tube hatch. And then pressurizing that area known as the vestibule between Dragon and the station hatches. And the station hatch that we're looking at for that vestibule area is the APAS hatch. We had a great view of that as Crew-Dragon was flying in. We also saw that little docking target from which Crew-Dragon was able to align. And Kate Rubin will pressurize that hatch. We'll have a thermal stabilization period as well. And this means we will pause for a while as we begin to do leak checks. We want to make sure that there's no fluctuation in temperature that can make it look like there's a fluctuation in pressure. So we'll be pausing for about 30 minutes for that. And once it evens out, Kate Rubin will open up that hatch or remove the docking target. And then it'll be a short matter of time before we see our Crew-Dragon crew enter their new home aboard the International Space Station.
Very exciting. So let's go to Brandy Dean for a refresher on what's ahead now that Dragon is docked.
Yeah, and it's so great to see Dragon there docked on the end of the Harmony node and ready for the new joint expedition to begin. What better way to celebrate 20 years of continuous human presence in space than by adding a seventh crew member to the long-duration crew on board the space station, allowing them to do more work and more science. Before we get to that, we have to get them on the other side of the hatch, and that is what is ahead of us for tonight now at this point. That's still a little ways off because it does take a little bit of time to get all these hatches open. There's more than one, in fact. When Kate Rubin gets the go from the team here on the ground, she will be doing a short check of the pressurization inside the pressurized mating adapter. That is the tunnel that basically connects now the Harmony node to the Dragon. Assuming that looks good, and it should only take a minute or so, that will be open, and then she can start the next step, which will take a little longer. The small area between the hatch on the space station and the Dragon has been exposed to the vacuum of space until now, so it needs to be filled with air, and that takes a little while. Kate Rubin will be working on that for the next hour and a half or so, but after that, we will be able to see all the crew members together for the first time, which we're really looking forward to. But we'll keep following along in the meantime, and for now, I'll pass it back to you guys in Hawthorne. Thanks.
Thanks, Brandy. so exciting. We're getting very, very close. It's been such an amazing journey since launch yesterday at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Time. We watched them from the beginning, from them suiting up, making their way to the pad, riding these fixed service structure, ingressing on Dragon, getting into their seats, getting strapped in, liftoff at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Time, with a safe ride from Falcon, separating Dragon into orbit.
It's an absolutely amazing journey. it's that's the only word I can think of right now. And
Right.
27 and a half hours later, it almost doesn't even feel like that long. So I hope that they've had a good ride in Dragon. It was amazing to see Crew-Dragon earlier, that they were able to take us inside, give us a little bit of a tour. And then we had those 5 major burns. We had one last night. Crew got some sleep. And we had the rest today. We also added in a few additional maneuvers in there, or I should say the Dragon computer added those maneuvers in there just to keep us on the right trajectory, and obviously it did a great job. Crew Dragon arrived at the International Space Station at 8:01 p.m. Pacific Time, 11:01 p.m. Eastern Time, and this view coming from inside the International Space Station, looking at the Node 2 hatch. This is what Kate Rubens will open shortly, and then begin pressurizing the vestibule, that area between those 2 hatches that Randy Dean was telling us about.
This is so exciting. It's been a long journey, but so worth it. They made it to the station safely. Can't wait for them to get through these next few processes, do the leak checks, to make sure everything is safe to open. Those hatches, and then watch
we're keeping an eye on Crew Dragon and on the International Space Station as they continue these checks. Crew Dragon crew members will begin docking their suits here soon. Kate Rubens will get to work on the station side, opening this hatch, conducting leak checks, pressurizing the vestibule, and eventually welcoming our crew members on board.
we will have a welcome ceremony, so stay tuned with us. We will stay live.
Yes, and we will definitely stay live as we move through all of these checks. We'll keep you updated.
Lion said good night, Ryan Butterly.
You'll get to watch the members go through making their home on the International Space Station for the next 6 months.
Krusty and YT said good night, Lion.
Targeting SpaceX on the Big Loop, ISS power connection is established.
Copy is good news.
Station Houston, space to ground 2 for Ingress Part 1. Copy, complete, and you're go. And you are go in both steps 1.1 and 2.2. No, I have that 1 and 2.2 work.
That is Kate Rubin aboard the International Space Station, stepping through the procedures to bring Crew Dragon on board. And the hatch she just opened obviously is on the station side of Node 2. That is the pressurized mating adapter hatch. It's got several more steps on her side to go. Meanwhile, the crew aboard Crew Dragon will be doffing their suits or taking them off, drying and stowing them. They'll also be stowing any of the equipment that they used.
Sensation Safety Ground 2, the Node 2 forward hatch is open and the MPEG is uncapped. It moved up 1.2 and 1.3. There was no depth speed drop.
Copy all.
And that was Kate just confirming that that hatch is now open.
And she is speaking with the Capcom in Mission Control Houston. The Capcom stands for Capsule Communicator. That's a term from back in the days when we were just flying capsules. When, of course, we moved to the Space Shuttle program, not necessarily a capsule. And here we are in a capsule again. However, Capcom is the person that speaks with the astronauts aboard the International Space Station. They relay everything that's happening on the ground to the crew members. This keeps them from getting too much information coming from too many different directions. Kate remains in breasting the pressurized mating adapter. She'll also need to she'll need to pressurize the vestibule. That's the next hatch. It's the space between Crew Dragon and the International Space Station, that vestibule area. And the APAS hatch was what was exposed to the vacuum of space prior to Crew Dragon's arrival, so we want to make that the same pressure as what's inside Crew Dragon and the space station.
Looks pretty easy to get around in the space station. See her gliding around as she's grabbing some of her tools.
Kate will begin opening a valve on the APAS hatch to slowly let air in, pausing along the way. We'll also do thermal stabilization, making sure that the temperature isn't changing in that vestibule area, giving us signals that are changing when it comes to the pressure we want to see inside. So we'll end up pausing for about 30 minutes to make sure that is leveled out. Eventually, Kate Rubin will open up the APAS hatch, remove the docking target that we saw as Crew Dragon was flying in. That's what the vehicle uses to align with the International Space Station. She will stow that docking target, and then it'll be time for our crew, or Crew Dragon, to ingress the space station.
What a cool view we are getting here from the space station, looking out at Dragon attached to that Node 2 port.
Also a good view of the trunk of Dragon, and you can see those solar arrays, or they're not really arrays, they're solar cells, and they're wrapped around the body of Dragon. That's the
Basic ground 2 in step 2.4 at 0438. APAS equalization valve is closed after 75 seconds of open. Copy, okay, we see good vestibule pressurization. And I would put a warning there, or at least a note for the crew about how loud that was. Where you copy, Kate? Until I got training in Houston. We'll have to beef up our simulators. Yeah, suck some air out of the room.
Hey, Rubens is talking with our Capcom, Megan Levins, who is a trainer. She was saying that letting that air into the vestibule was a little bit louder than she expected it to be. But she did let in 75 seconds of air, beginning to pressurize the vestibule, that space between the APAS hatch on the station and the Crew Dragon hatch. As we were discussing, though, you can see those solar cells on the top half of Dragon, on the trunk. That's the black section. Allows Dragon to gather energy from the sun on its journey to the International Space Station. Meanwhile, on the bottom half of the trunk, the white side is a thermal radiator to help keep Dragon cool. However, Crew Dragon, now being attached to the International Space Station, is running on space station power rather than any power of its own.
And as we're getting ready for these hatches to be open, Dragon will actually use sensors on board Dragon to check the
This all comes again after Crew Dragon's contact with the International Space Station happening tonight at 8:01.
We're here at the Poly. The new fireworks. Come on. Say it.
Houston team letting the Crew Dragon crew know they're reconfiguring to different audio configurations. They'll regain communications with them shortly. As we saw earlier, the crew asked that the cameras inside be made external so we wouldn't get any interior views of Crew Dragon. That's because they will be doffing their suits, getting back into those comfortable clothes, preparing to ingress or enter the International Space Station once all of the pressurization of the vestibule and leak checks are complete.
SpaceX is the Dragon on Dragon and Ground. We still got you. Hey, just want to give you a heads up, 5 Alpha, decimal 5, suit drive is started for all 4 suits. Okay, copy that. 4 decimal 400, 133 and 1.
their suits now, and they are now drying those suits. If you are just now joining us, Dragon is now hard captured to the International Space Station. Kate Rubens is helping to get the vestibule ready and to be and prepared for hatch opening. We also saw Kate Rubens getting that ready on the station side. She's already opened the pressurized mating adapter hatch. That's the hatch on the station side of node 2. And what you can see on your screen is mission control here in Hawthorne, California. They are getting together, they just got together for a group photo in celebration of this amazing Crew-1 mission. A lot of hard work put into this mission. Definitely want to capture that moment. Absolutely. And right back to their stations they go, still monitoring the vehicle. It has been 27 and a half hours, maybe actually a little bit longer now. Of course, the teams rotate out every 8 or 9 hours to keep them fresh. But a lot of work put in on both the NASA and SpaceX sides to make this happen today, bringing first long-duration crew to the International Space Station. And so exciting. Very close for the crew to enter station. We're just getting prepared, making sure that the hatch, the leak checks are complete before we open up the hatches and let the crew on board. Crew's already out of their suits. They're getting comfortable and getting ready to board the International Space Station. We'll also be anticipating a welcome ceremony later tonight for the crew once they ingress the International Space Station. We'll get to watch them greet all of their colleagues currently aboard, and then we will see them speak with the ground for a little while as well. We talked about a lot of firsts on this mission. As we mentioned, this is the first 4-person capsule space flight ever, and it will also become the longest flight of a crewed U.S. capsule. The previous record was Skylab 4, and that was in 1973. It lasted for 84 days. Wow, that's a pretty long journey. Right now on your screen, if you're just now joining us, you are looking at a live view of Dragon docked to the International Space Station. The crew still inside Dragon, preparing for hatch opening. They're out of their suits now, getting into some more comfortable clothes. Their suits are currently drying. And depending on how long these processes take for the leak checks and pressurization of the vestibule, the crew will be boarding shortly, and we'll be having a welcome ceremony. And this all comes after soft capture of the Crew Dragon vehicle happened at 8:01 p.m. Pacific time tonight, 11:01 p.m. Eastern time. The Crew Dragon and the International Space Station flying 262 statute miles over Idaho.
Dragon approach photos are available for you on SSCE.
Copy. Okay, we'll take a look at SSCA. Look forward to looking at those photos.
I think there's some pretty nice stuff there. You guys are gonna like it.
It is known objectively to be a very good-looking vehicle.
Absolutely concur. On Instagram too, are you okay with the no 2 high def or standard depth cameras for the setup for ISIS experience record? I'll do it in front of the cameras, that way we don't have to change the view that we've got in front of the PAO setup.
And we're checking. Stand by. Again, at 4.400, all ready to report states of charge when ready for the crew tablets. SpaceX tablet states of charge, Commander 42, MS1 45, MS2 Tree Niner, and ELT 69%. And MS2 is Tree 3939. Station on Phil on Space Ground 2 for Kate and video.
And you?
Have yourself.
We think that's a good view for now. We may
Have
need
your.
some adjustments once you get
Have yourself.
Have you had Christmas?
you loud and clear.
And say again for Dragon on the Eagles.
It's Houston, we were just giving you a comp check. We have you loud and clear.
Okay, we have you loud and clear as well.
Dragon SpaceX on Space Ground 2, comp check.
Good evening, happily. Just staying in your house and not being around anybody is just a little fun. So I get to talk to people on the phone today.
Excellent. Excellent. I have you the same. And do we have your permission to come back on board with video?
Negative at this time. We are still doing some configuration inside.
Totally fine. Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And just to let you know as well, we are not hearing any echoes on board at this time.
Copy. That's a good data point. Thank you. And if you guys need a view of the Sciences Experience setup, I can move the node to SD cam a little bit. I just would rather not move the HD cam. We got that all set up and did see the website yesterday.
And we copy Kate. Stand by. I think we're going to have an input for you.
think I'm obsessed with this, but I'm okay with it. I am obsessed with it. And I think this isn't a
It's a great ducky. Can you give me a chin up, little bug? I'm gonna go.
look inside the International Space Station, and we have been covering the arrival of the Crew-Dragon Crew-1 mission, now having arrived at the International Space Station, docking coming at 8:01 p.m. Pacific Time, 11:01 p.m. Eastern Time, as the International Space Station was flying 262 statute miles over Idaho. Since that time, there have been several steps through which the Crew-Dragon crew and the crew aboard the International Space Station, Kate Rubens, as you see here, they need to step through those before we can welcome the crew aboard. Kate Rubens first opened that impasse hatch on the International Space Station in Node 2, the PMA hatch, the pressurized mating adapter. She is inside that right now, and right behind her is the APAS hatch. She worked to pressurize the vestibule. The vestibule is a space between the APAS hatch on the station side and Dragon's hatch. Previously, before Dragon docked, the APAS hatch was exposed to the vacuum of space, and so we wanted to pressurize that area, make it the same pressure as the space station and Crew Dragon. So we can open that and begin welcoming our crew members aboard. So the vestibule has been pressurized. We'll see her do some work on the space station APAS hatch. Once it's open, she'll remove the docking target that the Crew Dragon vehicle used to locate and align itself with Node 2. Eventually, we will see the crew members come through the Crew Dragon hatch after that is opened. In the meantime, they've been doffing or taking off their spacesuits, getting into their comfortable clothes.
Hello everyone, this is
Showing
Jesus
some things
Channel.
that they've been using
I'm
for
just
the journey.
going to the interview with this, and Tesla is asleep, and everybody, if you haven't checked out, I'm getting a YouTube channel. So it's called Super Fun Time. If you guys want to watch it,
Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Like, comment, subscribe. I got my channel, Tracy Goes Disney.
yeah, and also, please give me 5 million subscribers. Okay? I'm gonna post a new video tomorrow. I'm just not feeling today. I don't want to do videos today. I'll make sure that I post some videos tomorrow on Roblox, Minecraft, Animal Crossing, Choco Life World, like any of those games. Okay, guys? So, whoever, my channel has not started yet, but when it starts,
we'll have a welcome ceremony with the crew. They'll be speaking with teams on the ground. And this arrival kicks off a
Hi, Mom.
mission for the crew members.
Me too.
Our crew of 4, Commander Mike Hopkins,
Yeah.
pilot Victor Glover,
What are you still doing up?
Shannon Walker, and our international partner, Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Soichi Noguchi. Station Houston, Space Ground 2 for Kate.
I really want this.
Okay, while we are troubleshooting the access experience here on the ground, you are go for Dragon Ingress Part 2. That's excellent. I just opened it. Alright, copy go for the Ingress Part 2, and I'm stepping in on step 3.1. Go ahead and go for the APAS equalization valve. Open. And that's correct. Take your go. Go, thanks.
Kate Rubin speaking with the Capcom and Mission Control Houston, discussing troubleshooting the ISS experience. That is a payload allowing them to record what's happening aboard the International Space Station. Obviously, we have these views here, that is a special payload. So they were just working on getting those views up.
route is open. Yes, copy.
Okay, just opened up the equalization valve, and this will let air in to the vestibule from the space station. We'll be monitoring
Only for your door, that's 3 decibel 2, so take that better inside. And we are equalized, you are go. Go.
And that was confirmation that the pressure is now equal between the vestibule and the space station. So we're getting very, very close to this hatch opening, step by step, but almost there.
Sounds like we're running about 15 minutes ahead in the process
50
as well, so
subscribe.
that's good news too.
To be on. Okay, guys.
Coming up on about our crew launched at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday. Coming up on about 29 hours since their launch, and their journey began in the Crew Dragon vehicle.
It says do something to go into step 3 decimal 3 GMT 524. Copy 524.
Kate Rubens is in the pressurized mating adapter, now working on the A-pass hatch. He is installing a tool on the hatch that's used to open it. As we heard earlier, the pressure is equal for the space between the A-pass hatch and the Crew Dragon hatch is pressurized. he gets off Lincoln and Doug Hurley inside Crew Dragon after it had docked through that very window. Meanwhile, Kate Rubin's taking some pictures to share with the ground later. These are still very new operations for the International Space Station, so gathering this data, relaying it to the ground helps inform future space flight.
Station 2 stepping into 3.6 for the APAS hatch open. Copy all.
Kate Rubin is following some standard procedures. That is what she's confirming with the ground in Houston. Even those photos are part of the standard procedure.
Station position to confirm this is a call straight out for the APAS hatch. You are correct, Kate, and it usually does take a bit of a pull. I didn't want to put force into the system unless you guys were expecting it, but it is definitely got some good stuff feeling there from the vacuum. We are with you.
Kate Rubin's now preparing to open that APAS hatch, making sure what she's experiencing is nominal. The ground confirms it may be a little tough to open up that hatch.
This is a hold. Houston, check before you deadlift it up. It's open. Copy all.
Rubin is confirming the APAS hatch is open, and now we can see it for ourselves. Taking a look inside the flashlight, she will also remove that docking target that Crew Dragon used to align itself with Zone 2 when making its approach earlier today.
And a really cool shot from Dragon, seeing Kate inside of that vestibule. Kate saying hi to the world.
Getting in there, getting a good look at the hatch seals, looking for any contact next up is that docking target that you see hanging down right there. Let's get that out of the way and prevent anybody from maybe bumping into it. Once she's stowed that docking target, we'll get ready for Dragon hatch equalization. That'll equalize the pressure between Dragon and the station, and then the moment we've been waiting for, we will open the Crew Dragon hatch, welcome those 4 crew members to their new home for the next 6 months. As Rufus works to open that hatch, we are transitioning over from Tidra satellites, that's tracking data and relay satellite systems. The International Space Station goes through these handovers periodically. They are tracked by ground, so we should regain video communications with them shortly. A reminder of everything that Crew Dragon has experienced on its journey to the International Space Station after lifting off from the Kennedy Space Center yesterday at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Time. The crew conducted their first burn. Well, I can't say the crew conducted it, but Crew Dragon conducted the first burn last night, and then moved on to give a little bit of sleep. So they got a good sleep period until this morning. We had some burns in between that the Crew Dragon computer determined that were needed to keep us on course. Completed the other 4 major burns today. That took us out of the rendezvous phase of the mission and then into the approach phase, which is where we've been for the last few hours. We completed the approach initiation burn, approach out of plane burn, and the approach initiation mid-course maneuver, and all of these lined us up exactly where we needed to be. And that led us into finally approaching for docking, doing a soft capture, followed by a hard capture with those 12 hooks, hooks attaching to the International Space Station, and then finally arriving at the space station, completing docking. And right now, Kate is helping with getting the hatch ready, almost ready for hatch open for Dragon. She was able to get a peek inside through the window at on the hatch of the crew members on board, and shortly we'll see them ingress the space station. Absolutely, it's been about 27 and a half hours of aboard their spacecraft. We've mentioned a couple of times everything is meticulously tracked when you're in space. So that includes any meals that are eaten, any items that are used, and any hardware that's being stowed. We want to make sure we know where it is.
This is what the crew was doing as they are waiting for Kate to finish up her procedures on the space station side. The crew, after they docked, they were able to get out of their suits, get their suits drying, and complete their inventory check as they wait for that hatch to open up.
And the most recent thing we saw, Kate Rubin, like I mentioned, this was an autonomous mission. The crew did not have to fly Crew-Dragon. It flew itself completely all the way to the International Space Station. There's Kate Rubin's view from the Dragon spacecraft itself. She's configuring the APAS hatch, putting cover on top of the APAS hatch. You can see she's removed that dock target that the spacecraft used to align and dock with the International Space Station.
Dragon at SpaceX on Dragon to Ground. For your awareness, we are about to take down the S-band path, so from this point forward, please use the ISS Big Loop Fixed Ground 2 path for all communication.
Again, if you're just now joining us right now, what you're seeing on your screen is a view from Dragon looking into the space station with Kate Rubin preparing for the crew to come on board, getting everything set up in kind of the vestibule area prior to opening up the Dragon hatch.
Dragon. SpaceX on Dragon to Ground for a contract.
And we have the loud and clear on Dragon to Ground.
Awesome. We just wanted to let you know that we are about to take down the S-band path, which will take down our Dragon to Ground voice communication. So from this point forward, please use the Big Loop.
I think you called it up a second ago. Maybe you didn't hear it.
Yes, I think your call must have just dropped off. Thanks for confirming.
That was some communication here onboard speaking with the crew aboard Crew-Dragon, letting them know they are switching their telemetry or their sound communications lines with them. They'll now be communicating via the loops on the International Space Station. Kate Rubin's finishing up installing the APAS hatch cover. Coming up next, we'll be looking for Dragon hatch equalization, equalizing the pressure between Crew-Dragon and the International Space Station, and then it will be time to welcome our 4 new crew members aboard.
particular pilot traffic at 8, you can turn back on board.
Okay, copy. Thank you so much.
Cape Reuben, following the IMC duct, that's intermodule ventilation. That'll make sure the Crew Dragon is sharing the same air with the International Space Station, making sure that that's all being circulated in and out of the vehicle. Calls will be listened for as the station is ready for Dragon hatch equalization. Want to equalize the pressure between Dragon and the space station. Once we get the go for that, we will stand by for the equalization and then see hatches.
additional troubleshooting steps for you.
Okay, copy. And my apologies to SpaceX. I came up with a different vehicle, but I'm really excited to see this one and switch it over to Space to Ground 3.
The call we were looking for, that the International Space Station is ready for Dragon hatch equalization. We'll want to equalize the pressure between Crew Dragon and the International Space Station. It should take about 5 minutes. And what we'll be looking for next for Dragon hatch to open.
And the sensors on Dragon will actually be what we'll check to make sure that that pressure is good before we open that hatch. If all goes well, sounds like we're 5 minutes away.
Also aligns us pretty well with our projections that it should take about 2 hours to move through these steps, making some hatch openings, so leak checks, vestibule pressurization.
And as a reminder, once the Dragon hatch does open and before crew members do ingress on the space station, there will be a welcome ceremony where the folks on board station will join those 4 crew members, welcoming them on board.
Okay, Ruben's discussing. Yes, she came up on a different vehicle. She arrived on a Russian Soyuz. Her Russian counterparts on the International Space Station are Sergei Ryzhikov and Sergei Perchkov. They joined for the welcome as well. I'm sure they'll be very excited to greet their new crew members.
We're just a few minutes away from that pressure equalization between Dragon and the station. Mission Control Houston, the team here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room has been following along all night. They're coming to the end of their shift as we near the opening of the hatch on the SpaceX Dragon. Kate Rubens has been working steadily through the procedure on her side of the hatch while the Crew Dragon crew members do their part on the other side. So we are expecting to see that just in the next few minutes. It's scheduled to take place at 12:10 a.m. Central Time, but could be a little early. And once we do see all of the crew members on board together, we'll be ready to go into our welcoming ceremony that will be following that. Taking part in that welcoming ceremony, we are going to have the NASA Associate Administrator for Human Exploration and Operations Mission Directorate, Kathy Leaders, and the JAXA, or Chinese Exploration Agency President, Dr. Yamakawa Hiroshi. And they will be talking with the crew as part of the welcoming ceremony as the Crew Dragon members, that's Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and Soichi Noguchi, join the Expedition 64 crew for the first time. Expecting that hatch opening to come anytime now, since Kate Rubens has been working speedily through her side of the procedures. It's only the second time we've opened that hatch on a Crew Dragon with people inside from the International Space Station, so still nailing down exactly how long it takes for the crew to complete these procedures. And like we said, getting through it a little earlier than expected tonight. Shortly after the welcoming ceremony begins, the team here in Mission Control Houston will be handing over to their Orbit 1 counterparts, wrapping up their part in the arrival of the Dragon at the International Space Station. And of course, following the festivities, we'll have one final news conference to wrap up the activities tonight. Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. You are go for hatch opening per your decal, followed by the remaining actions in procedure 4.400, section 6.
Dragon copy. And hatch open for the decal and remaining steps in section 6 of 4.400.
Dragon go to open their side of the hatch, which is what we've been waiting for, so we should be seeing them floating through across the threshold to the International Space Station momentarily. For Mike Hopkins, Shannon Walker, and Soichi Noguchi, this will be a return visit to the International Space Station. Mike was there in 2014 for Expedition 3738, where he spent 156 days. at 12:02 a.m. Central Time. Hatches between the two beams will open. Now we're just waiting for the crew to head to the International Space Station. Looks like they are waiting to hello to their new crewmates now. Also seeing here for the first time tonight the Wisconsin members of the crew. Sergei Ryzhikov is commander of Expedition 64 and Sergei Kuznetsov. Finishing up some intra-module ventilation work there, getting air flowing between the space station and the Crew Dragon before they do make their way across the hatch. But again, that hatch is open now. That came at 12:02 a.m. Central Time. Saying a moment ago, this will be Mike Hopkins' second visit to the International Space Station. He was last there in 2014. Same for Shannon Walker. She was there in 2010 for Expedition 24 and 25 and spent 163 days on board the space station. Luigi Gucci has been to the space station twice before for STS 114 in 2005 and in 2009 for Expedition 22 and 23. He's got 177 days already in space. Will be the first time for Victor Glover to pass across the hatch and visit the International Space Station, kicking off their month-long stay in space when the space station will for the first time have 7 crew members on board for a full expedition. Station Houston, Spacecraft 2, you are go in step 6.3.
Houston,
they do make their way to the International Space Station, making sure any loose items are stowed securely, and then also putting away the liquid biocartridges that they use to scrub the carbon dioxide out of the air while they're on their way to the space station. Now that they are at the space station, they don't need those any longer, because they'll use the space station system for that. Again, just the last few items before they'll be able to ingress to the space station.
If you are just joining, we are listening in to the International Space Center where the astronauts are coming through. So just hang tight. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, share it out. Like I said, just hang tight. We're just listening into the International Space Center. Most of the astronauts come through to the International Space Center, so just hang tight. That is what we want you to do, please. Okay, thanks. And just so you know, we've got the copy. Shannon Walker, they're reporting down to the ground on the crew members' progress and looking through just a few final items before they come on board the International Space Station for the first time on this mission. Again, they're putting away some lithium hydroxide canisters that were used to scrub carbon dioxide out of the crew members' air. No longer needed now that the Dragon is at the International Space Station. Current Expedition 64 crew here, Kate Rubins, of course, with NASA, and then the Expedition Commander, Sergei Ryzhikov. They're on the right side of the screen. They, along with Sergei Ryzhikov, have all been at the space station since October 14th. Walker. And finally, for Legion Iguchi bringing up the rear. 4 new members, bringing the total Expedition 64 crew to a total of 7. Ready to increase the space station science and get to work.
are here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne. You've got a view of Mission Control Hawthorne right there on your screen, and we just saw the major event of the night.
The crew has finally come on board the International Space Station. A lot of smiles, a lot of hugs. The welcome ceremony.
And did you copy the wireless mic?
Houston, that's a good scene check. We're checking something here on audio, so stand by for another countdown.
Okay, sounds good. And let me know about lighting. I've got a work light so I can move that as needed.
And lighting looks good, Kate. If you could just do a quick 5 count, we'll do a quick audio check.
Copy and work.
These voice checks you're hearing coming from NASA astronaut Kate Rubins, now joined by 4 new crew members aboard the International Space Station, along with her 2 crewmates from Roscosmos, the Russian space agency, and they are setting up for the welcome ceremony. So we are standing by for that welcome ceremony coming up just a few minutes from now.
And you can hear them getting ready. They're doing all their formal checks, mic checks, to get ready to bring the crew and welcome them on board. Very excited to see this. We already saw how excited the crew members were to get on board station. I can't wait to hear them talk in a few minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely. After their 27.5-hour journey to the International Space Station, finally making it to that destination, and they docked tonight at 8:01 p.m. Pacific time, 11:01 p.m. Eastern time, right on time, essentially at the Node 2 port aboard the International Space Station, and now they will be there for